Hey, what's up? This is Zach here at CES. Super excited to be chatting with my next guest. I'll let her introduce herself and a little bit about her industry. So if you want to kick it off and just introduce yourself and your business.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Lana Ashby Rowder, and I'm the founder of Looking Glass. We're a next-generation tech-enabled platform for personal styling. So you can scan your closet, you'll get daily AI outfits delivered to you based on your location, weather, and events for the day. And our magical sweet spot is that we have a button where you can connect with a live stylist on demand for further advice.
I love this, and I think a lot of people are so busy and stuff that they have, maybe don't have time to think about this in the way that, it's such a big deal. Like, I'm on camera all the time, maybe I don't prioritize it enough. Can you talk about maybe what that's like and what brought you to do this?
Yeah, I think, to your point, everybody is so overwhelmed knowing what to wear to all the things. And we're posting everything online and we need to look good. I started it because I'm a mom and had a major lifestyle change, career change, and no longer knew how to dress for the everyday things, especially after my body changed and my career changed. But then it really branched out to, so I solved the problem for myself, and then it branched out to my friends, and then a bigger community of people that I found that struggled with this. For example, we just dressed a guy in Austin who got a big time job in Washington, D.C. And so how he's dressing every day for work is way different in D.C. than it is in Austin, where he's been wearing flip-flops and cargo shorts. So, a lot of people struggle with this and they think it's, outfits are superficial, but it's not. Being a nurse before I started this, I know that there's so much psychology and what we wear to how we present ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. And if we like the way we look, we just present ourselves more confidently.
And kind of, I guess, what made you want to come to CES? And you mentioned you have a tech, get into the AI part of it. So kind of, talk about that.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
So it first came about, we're collaborating with AARP. They are one of the largest sponsors of CES, and I'll be speaking on stage with them on Friday.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, AARP.
Awesome. Huge group.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity for us. So they're targeting their entry-level members, which starts at age 45, and they're bringing startups that can make aging more fun. So styling, jewelry, pickleball, all these things that can enhance our lives versus just talking about finances and health. So I'm on stage with them on Thursday, and it's just kind of snowballed. My CTO is coming in tomorrow. He's in the Bay Area. We're meeting with some developers, meeting with some AI folks to really continue to develop the closet scanning software, add in some AI. I'm pitching tonight at a startup event. So this is an amazing place. It's my first time here, and I can't wait to come back next year, because now that I've been here, it's everything cool is happening this week.
Do you think, I find that really fascinating too, what you're saying, because it's kind of two ways. This is how I'm listening to what you're saying is one aspect is kind of doing the best with the clothes that you already have that are in your closet, and then also figuring out maybe just in general what clothes fit for you and what you like best per the occasion that you're in. Is that right? Does that kind of sound?
So we can style with you based on what you already have. So that's where the closet scanning software comes into play. Right now we're doing it very manually. Our customers can upload their closet, just take pictures, take little videos so that we can see on the back end what they have. But being a personal stylist, we know that most of our clients have enough stuff. We go in closets where there's tags, people have tons of stuff, but they still don't know what to wear to a specific event in a certain part of the country, what's appropriate. So they, 9 out of 10 of our clients want to talk to that human and talk it through, hey, I lost a lot of weight, or I'm going to this thing and I'm meeting my girlfriend's parents, is this appropriate? They want that one-on-one human connection. So, as AI evolves, we'll plug it in and use it where it's applicable, but we'll always keep that human piece, because our clients just usually want to pick up a phone and call a friend and say, just help me, just tell me what to wear.
No, and I'm thinking right now, and I think tech in fashion is becoming more and more of a thing, and people notice it. I remember kind of even just seeing a video of Mark Zuckerberg today, and he's way cooler looking than he was a couple years ago. He's got a chain on, he's got a new look, and I think it's definitely helped people view him, at least the younger generation, as maybe less robotic, less nerdy. So it has a huge impact.
Well, that's the thing too. Everybody now has to have a brand.
Right.
I was talking to a friend that's a hairstylist, and she's like, it's not okay just to do good hair. Now you have to have an Instagram, and you have to have a profile, and you have to make reels, and we're constantly putting ourselves out there. And if we can, show up more confidently, it's only going to help. And I think that starts with liking the way we look, and that's a lot through outfits.
What are like some tech, like maybe people that they would know, icons of looks that you like, maybe if you could say?
Okay, outfits I like. I love J-Lo. J-Lo's got a great look, great hairstyles. The Golden Globes are just on, so I was like obsessing over all those looks. Men's suiting has really, really taken off. He looked incredible. As far as professionals,
do you think Elon Musk or like Jeff Bezos, like, do they have good style? I don't know these people. I'm just wondering, like, from your perspective, like, if you, what is your opinion?
It's so hard, and I think it's so depending on what you're going for. So, like, being in the tech space and being a female, sometimes if I show up in a black hoodie and Toms, I get more respected because I get seen more as techie. Like, that's what people assume tech should look like.
Interesting.
Versus if I come in like a skirt and heels. So I think it kind of, and that's where we come into play. Like, you kind of have to know where you're going. You kind of have to know the audience. We dress some people for CES that have never been here. Like, okay, it's a tech thing, but I'm coming as a friend of a friend, and like, what do I wear? So just kind of knowing where you're going, the audience that's going to be there, and how you want to show up, I think is most of it. And Elon Musk has branded himself, and so now if he were to go back and dress a different way, people would be like, I don't know how to respond to this. Like, I don't, is he having midlife crisis? Like, we always see him a certain way because that's his brand. Same with Mark Zuckerberg. Like, he has a brand. Steve Jobs had a brand, in his black sweaters.
Do you think like I honestly don't know, like, how do you think like he came up with that himself and he was just like, this is a clothes that he just liked and he just stuck with it? Yeah, Elon or Mark, because they say like Mark says it's like, oh, it's for convenience, but like it's also a brand, and you're right, and he could buy anything, right? So it's like, I think the brand part is super key, and everyone is a brand now.
It is. I don't know how it got started. How Mark got into his style. But I think once you get there, people they see that, and there's a familiarity and there's a trust there, almost like a brand's logo. Like, you see the logo for Yeti or you see the logo for Facebook, and you don't even have to see the word Facebook. You see the logo and the color, and you know what it is. So I think seeing them, how they present themselves, like, you automatically associate, either a trust or not a trust, or certain attributes to their look. So to change now would be probably very difficult, but.
Because a lot of our audience is on X and also different platforms, but our biggest platform is Twitter. We have like 100,000 followers on Twitter. We're growing on other platforms, and we're learning about fashion, of course. What like is the social media platform right now where it's like, or I don't even know if it is a social media platform, where like the newest looks or sort of trends premiere on? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
it's so wild, and I'm not even like super duper techie. Like, we are a tech-enabled platform, and I do have a technical co-founder, but there's a whole there's Fashion Week obviously in New York, and in the spring and the fall, which is what I like to go to, but now there's a whole metaverse Fashion Week.
Oh, wow.
And so that's like beyond me. Like, I don't even understand, like, designers are creating outfits for like avatars for Meta Fashion Week, and like, it's crazy. But New York is definitely the place where all of that is happening, and I'm more in the real world with the everyday people, helping them look good, but there's tons in fashion tech, coming down the pipeline.
What do you think, like, because, let's say like a lot of our audience is also like, tech CEOs, let's say, and a lot of them honestly, like, because we started kind of in crypto, so a lot of them made a lot of their money in crypto. So they're like younger men, let's say, and maybe they have money, but they don't know how to dress, and they're looking for help. Like, is that a common scenario that you see? Yeah,
absolutely. Career changes, or we want to up our game, or I've got a promotion and I want to level up a little bit. We see that all the time, and that's a great time to kind of like reevaluate your wardrobe. Think about colors you like, fabrics you like, clothes you feel good in, and I would just say, wear something that feels like you. Like, even if you are a jeans and t-shirt guy and you get a promotion, that doesn't mean you have to go get custom suits. Like, show up in jeans and t-shirts, but make sure they're good jeans and t-shirts, right? The fit looks good. You can add a blazer or a sport coat or something like that. But we find when people try to level up and they branch too far out of what feels true to themselves is when they just come off as kind of cringy and unauthentic.
Yeah, it'd be like what if one of your homies just like started throwing up in like a suit,
Yeah.
like I don't know, you'd be like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I totally get what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if that wasn't their style before, right?
Exactly.
They were usually just like a tech guy in a t-shirt.
Exactly, and most people can see right through that. I mean, they just, we see these people that are, and we're like, oh, this guy is, a little, I don't know, just disingenuous or whatever. So I think just dressing true to yourself, and then you can always just make sure, if it is jeans and t-shirts, making sure they're good jeans and t-shirts, or, leveling it up by adding some accessories or a nice coat or jacket is a way to do that.
No, I love it. And kind of, I'd love to kind of, I guess, take it back for a second, get into kind of like your story and what, talk a little bit, made you want to start this, and maybe if you could talk about the business and like where it started and kind of where you are today at CES.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm a nurse by trade, and I stayed at home to have kids, and then just kind of discovered after having babies and 5 years of maternity clothes and different wardrobes that I no longer knew what to wear anymore because I was no longer a nurse in scrubs, and I was going to galas and charity events, and I wanted some help, but I didn't want like a stylist to come to my house and do a huge wardrobe makeover that's going to cost $1,000. Like that was so overwhelming. But I had some things coming up where I'm like, I just want someone to help me pick this out or tell me if this looks okay. And I'd always loved style, but I grew up in the Midwest, and we have like farmers, nurses, bankers, teachers. So I went into nursing. But at this point, I kind of rediscovered my love for style and getting dressed, and became a personal stylist in New York Institute of Art and Design. And, solve this problem for me. And then randomly first I was having friends text me like, hey, does this look okay? This or this, just tell me like really quickly, does this look okay? Or which jeans look better on me? And then it kind of snowballed into one night at dinner, I had a stranger FaceTiming me saying like, help, I have a job interview tomorrow. It's a huge opportunity. Like, can I wear this or should I get this option? And she was in the dressing room of the store. And my husband was like, this is a business. People want this advice. They want it on demand. Like, we're in our wardrobes. Like,
and they're shy about it,
Yeah.
or they're not always confident. So
Exactly.
it's helpful to have someone that you trust.
Exactly. And I think like a lot of time we hear stylists and we think, oh, it's New York and they're going to make us buy, super high-end designer clothes that I'm never going to wear. But I think the nurse piece, my background in that, like I've seen people at their most vulnerable moments. Like I did a lot of after surgery care and, at the bedside. So I think I have that just kind of, compassionate, calming piece about me. And then the rest of our stylists, we've had former teachers, and we've got stylists that have been with Neiman Marcus and Stitch Fix. And so we all just kind of come at it as like, a human first approach where it's not really about the clothes, it's about how you feel. And then we can help you, pick out the clothes.
And just to kind of put a timeline on it, like how long ago was that initial?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is the story. So I started it, had the idea in February 2020, and then I gave some app developers a ton of money.
So right before COVID, basically.
Right before COVID, and then to have COVID hit, and then realize no one's going to get dressed for a while because we're just staying at home. It was devastating. But then coming out of that year, realized that the app company had scammed me.
No.
So they never built any code, never did anything. We went back and forth. I had to threaten litigation, and eventually got some semblance of some working code that I could throw on the Google app or Google Play and Google Play and Apple App Store. So I had that. It was under the name Selfie Stylist. The idea was send us your selfies and we'll style you. We'll tell you if it looks okay. We'll tell you what to swap. And it just never really worked, but we got 500 downloads like without even trying. And so we had people finding us, men from the UK, just kind of all over, just saying, hey, need some quick advice. I have a date. Does this look okay? Should I tuck in my shirt, not tuck in my shirt? Just quick, fashion help like that. So I took that and totally, we spent a couple years trying to fix what I had, could never fix it. Hit some trademark issues. So in 2023, rebranded to Looking Glass, went through an accelerator, got some tech help, brought on a technical co-founder, and now we went web-based. So it's all a web-based app. Our early downloads were like, we just want to be able to text you, just like we're texting our best friend in a group chat. Like, hey, what's everybody wearing tonight? So we're web-based now. So yeah, it's been quite the journey.
And kind of coming to CES, are you just kind of like meeting with some of your your clients, like meeting with potential folks? Because
Yeah.
I'm just kind of wondering, what are some personal goals for
Yeah.
the event?
A lot of our membership with Looking Glass is live now, so we're kind of in the launch phase. We got some paying members, but a big part of our go-to-market strategy is partnerships. So partnering with AARP, some mom groups. So I'm doing a lot of those kind of meetings with brands, and also mostly brands. I would say is why we're here, and also some tech developers, AI developers that we're going to be meeting with tomorrow.
And kind of like just because AARP, I know because I've done a lot of research on it, I know that it's actually like younger people, like 45 people actually have a very common misconception of that.
Yeah.
But what kind of like demographics, obviously you mentioned moms and folks, what is the majority of kind of the demographic, or is it pretty split? I mean,
so we're being super just laser focused because I bootstrapped this whole thing to
right.
date.
Congratulations. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, put in a lot of my own money. So I'm trying to just be super focused and not just, throw away money. But doing a lot of market research, we found our easiest entry is the millennial moms. So that's
Makes
what
sense.
we're kind of going after first. Yeah. Think of like the first wave of Stitch Fix. Those first early adopters are going to be, or are some of our early adopters. But the interesting thing is even though we're marketing to women and moms, we're finding males on our platform. So guys that have just graduated college and are getting jobs, maybe they're not married. We have some older guys in their 50s that their wives had always shop for them or dress them, and now they're no longer married, either they're widowed or divorced. So they need this help professionally and personally, to get dressed. So we're really excited. Our like I said, our first market will be the millennial women, and then our secondary will be men. So I think there's a lot of potential there. I'm excited.
And how, because I looked at the website and there's kind of different packages and stuff, what would you say is the most common thing that is requested sort of,
I would say it's a pretty even split. We have a VIP package where you can message your stylist daily or unlimited as much as you want. So if you just want somebody every day to say, yes, this looks okay before you head out the door, that's a great option. We've got some paying members on there. But our entry level, our Style BFF is $95 a month, and you can do 2 text message sessions and a video chat per month. And that's just a great way to get in there, see what we're all about, and see if you find it helpful.
Awesome. And I guess do you kind of expect to see that expanding because you mentioned some of these AR or things expanding into the future, or?
Yeah, I think so. We're still just doing a lot of testing, but eventually what the platform will shift into, what's live now is just our MVP with a live stylist, but eventually you'll be able to wake up and say, hey, good morning, it's 75 in Vegas, looks like you're headed to CES, wear this.
Oh, I would use that every day. I could use that today.
Yeah. So I think that will cut down on a lot. Some of the need to talk to a live person, if you can just wake up and say, oh, I need to wear this outfit, all these things I already have in my closet. But then like I said, there is that button for when you want additional help. You can hit click now or chat now and connect to a live stylist if you want to talk it through. So I think what we're interested and excited to see kind of how the live piece will change once the daily AI outfits are rolled out.
And how do you I guess, because some obviously bigger company have tried to do personal styling and it's gone well or not as well, you mentioned, I don't know, Stitch Fix and stuff, and I'm not an expert in this space at all, so I'm learning a lot through this conversation, but how do you sort of, in your opinion, differentiate or stand out or partner, or what's the plan sort of with those other?
Great question. I think a lot of our competitors, so I think the big problem statement is what should I wear? And people are overwhelmed. There's influencers and Amazon, there's so many things and places and ways to get clothes. And so a lot of our competitors, though, they're coming at this problem by sending more clothes. A lot of people are solving the problem with clothes. Here, just buy this, just buy this, just buy this.
Like Shane or Sheen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fast fashion is a huge piece of it. Amazon, you can buy an outfit for tomorrow and have it delivered overnight, right? But being in these closets, I know that those are, people might wear that once and then get rid of it, or they don't actually like it, or they're buying it because an influencer told them to buy it, but it doesn't really fit their body shape or their coloring or their lifestyle. And, Stitch Fix sends them a box of, 5 or 6 pieces, and they like 1 or 2 things, and they send back the rest, but they still don't have enough to make an outfit. And so, we're coming at it instead of selling clothes, because we know people have enough clothes. I think the average person uses 10 to 20% of their closet. we're just selling our friendly services. So it's like, you don't have to buy more clothes. We'll just help you put it together.
Oh, I love, that's brilliant. And that's honestly opens up the market so much.
Yeah, and there's like, a sustainability play there. The landfills are full of fast fashion. I could go into a whole left turn on, how many billions and trillions of clothes are in the landfills from places like Shein and Amazon. And those places definitely serve a purpose, but I think, we can be more mindful of what we put into our closet, and also just taking the time to kind of talk to a stylist and learn maybe what you actually like and what, might suit you, what colors are best on you, what might suit your body shape, will serve like the long-term problem versus just like crap, I need an outfit for tomorrow. Let me just, get something overnighted.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And I really appreciate you kind of breaking this down because I am learning a lot.
Great.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you so much for the fantastic conversation. For all of our viewers, if you need stylist help, I think a lot of our viewers are younger guys who are into tech, but I think it could always look better. I think that's really important, especially if we're on camera and we're doing more things. And I think a lot of us too, like it's like coming to CES or stuff. You don't always know what to wear because. Right. Is it a suit? Is it so? Even just these events, it's people who are watching this who maybe are just attending CES. Yeah. I think a lot of people get anxiety about picking what they're going to wear to events. Yeah. So you probably have a huge market there too. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was
awesome.
Fun.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up?
But it's not something Genzio is afraid of.
If you want to survive, you got to build a house.
No, we do not understand.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Rebecca's Genzio Media House.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us today.